What's up, y'all? Back again today with a quick special video. So today, I'm just doing a little shopping, and it's actually Martin Luther King Day. I wanted to touch on a few things. The first thing I want to say is, obviously, I want to pay my respect to Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy and the things that he's brought forth and the steps that he took to bring forth equality for us as a black people. Now, this video is going to be about black people meeting with Donald Trump. Yes, that's right. Black people meeting with Donald Trump. Now walk with me, talk with me, okay? So now I woke up this morning, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a day that commemorates Martin Luther King Jr. His legacy is deep. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. He gave many famous speeches and brought many people from many nations together to open an ear to the potential of showing the humanity of themselves. This is what Martin Luther King Jr. did. Great respect to this man. And on this day, I find out that his first begotten son, Martin Luther King Jr. III, was at the Trump Tower having a private meeting with Donald Trump. Now, there's a few things that I want to talk about, so please just stick around and I won't take too much of your time. I made a video, two videos actually, one regarding spiritual warfare and one regarding controlled celebrities. Now, in those videos, I elaborated on the idea of what spiritual warfare is, which in short is the idea that two opposing principalities are engaged in an altercation, and that altercation may not necessarily be physical. So when you understand the rules of war, you understand that not all forms of weaponry or not all forms of combat are physical. Many forms of warfare are covert, meaning hidden. Many forms of warfare are chemical or are mental. So we have to understand the subtle forms of manipulation that is waged upon us, because again, we are engaged in a spiritual war. Now, many people won't understand these terms because they're not taught to us in school. Spiritual warfare, what is that? I can't really Google that. I can't really understand that because it wasn't taught to me from a recognized institution. And I understand this. I understand that I'm not going to get many views initially because at this time, we don't have a deeper understanding of the ways of our universe and the ways of our society. But I believe, and I am believing, and I have faith that one day soon we will have a deeper understanding, and these videos, these type of dialogues will make more sense and become more common. But for those who do understand, yes, we are engaged in spiritual warfare. Now, with that being said, I also made a video titled Bow Before Me, which was discussing the idea of controlled celebrities. In that video, I went deeper and I elaborated into how high-ranking celebrities are used by people in influential places in order to sway the masses and the general public. You can watch that video if you like, but all of those videos were starting points or foundations for what's happening right now. What's happening right now is we see a number of notably influential African-American celebrities and high-ranking officials who are meeting with Donald Trump. Now, this isn't a video that's here to disrespect Donald Trump. This isn't a video that's here to disrespect any of the people who have met with Donald Trump. But it is to raise some of my observations. So one of my main observations was that Donald Trump has yet to speak out against the obvious, hateful, and negative and inflammatory rhetoric that's spewed by his supporters against black people as a collective. If you'll recall, at many of his rallies, there were many fights, one particular in which an unarmed man or an unthreatening man was walking up the stairs and was punched in the face by one of his supporters. Donald Trump has yet to speak out about any of the displays of violence towards black people. He has yet to denounce the former leader of the Ku Klux Klan, who was in open support of his campaign. So these type of ideas would make any rational black man or woman question the validity and the sincerity of Donald Trump when it comes to helping our neighborhoods. With that being said, I'm still not against the prospect of meeting with new potential allies in the form of debates. So we can have a debate, we can have a discussion, even if we initially oppose each other, as long as we have a mutual understanding that we want to move forward. But see, here's my problem. Why are all of these meetings at the Trump Tower so secretive? So far, Donald Trump has met with Kanye West. He's met with Jim Brown. He's met with Ray Lewis. He's met with Steve Harvey. And today, the most recent, he met with Martin Luther King Jr. III. So my question is, why are none of these meetings recorded? Why do we not know what the actual topics of discussion are? This is the main focus that we have to focus on. Because then we notice that there may be ulterior motives in these discussions. If you recall, people like Martin Luther King Jr., people like Malcolm X, they always had debates and discussions with people who don't necessarily agree with them initially, but these discussions were recorded, these discussions were documented. They didn't go into a secret private room with the open enemy at the time and then come and tell us later, yes, we had a discussion and it was great, and we discussed broad terms and we discussed how to make our country better, how to make our country great again. See? So this is where we have to start questioning the validity of some of these people in high-ranking positions who we often adore and love because they are in entertainment business. But really, we have to question their morale. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr. III, the same man who met with Donald Trump today, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, he also sued his very own sister, Martin Luther King's daughter. He sued her for the rights to sell Martin Luther King's personal Bible. So this is a man who would sue his own sister for the rights to sell his father's personal Bible. This sacred memorabilia that his daughter wanted to keep for a family namesake, or maybe even possibly give to a black historical museum. Martin Luther King Jr.'s son actually sued her just to get this Bible and the Nobel Peace Prize so that he can sell it. This is the same man who met with Donald Trump today. So this is why we have to understand that these people are not trustworthy. These people are not leaders in our community just because they have the same name as our leaders, just because they may look like our leaders. Here's a quick fact before I leave. Did you know that Martin Luther King Jr.'s mother was shot in church? Shot and killed in church. Did you know that? Did you know that Malcolm X's grandson was beaten, robbed, and thrown off of a cliff? Now, this isn't my question, this isn't hearsay. You could actually research this, but this is what I wanted to bring up, the idea of spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is so deep that they'll go to your lineage, they'll go to your kids and your parents just to prove a message and prove a point. The subtle forms of warfare. Donald Trump has been going to black churches recently. He's been getting black people to speak out in support for him because he's planting the flag in our neighborhood, and he knows that we don't have the guts to stand up. Or do we? In the meantime, I want you to think on that, and please, vibrate higher.